Hey, good morning everyone. We had a little change in plans last night. We decided, made an executive decision to go out and have a nice dinner while we're waiting for this thing to kick and everything. We said we'd peel it all apart in the morning, so here we are. It's the next day, and Josh is getting started pulling off the what we call the tacky tape and all the plastic. That'll all be coming up. All this plastic and tubing will disappear. What'll be exposed underneath is the finished part, fully infused, ready to be trimmed and put into production. If you look close there, you'll see your vacuum lines are completely solid with resin. These are the vacuum brakes. This is what slows down the resin flow as it's coming up around the bend here. Corners, slows it down before it hits it in the vacuum lines. I'll start by pulling all the plastic bag and tubing off, and once I have that all off, you'll see underneath there's that blue mesh, which is a transfer media that lets resin flow through all these channels. So when you saw it yesterday in the video, that's the resin flows through those channels, flows out. If you look very close, you'll see little holes, little pinholes. And those pinholes are to let the resin flow down through the cores of the foam and down into the lower layers of fiberglass.
That's nice.
Now that the green vacuum bag is gone, you'll see what's underneath, and that's the resin feed lines and the blue transfer media, which Dennis has started pulling up here. There you go. Peels right off.
Stop dancing around.
There you have it. All the flow media is off the boat. You'll see light areas of foam. Those are foam pores. All these holes in there are where the resin flows down through that foam into the bottom layers of fiberglass. And you'll see all this black material. This is all deck surfaces where they actually screw down all the seats and gas tanks and battery boxes and cleats and everything else that's needed, to be attached to the deck. The black material is a very dense material that can hold screws, where the foam material is over here, they cannot hold screws. It's very soft foam comparatively speaking. You'll notice this is the motor mount area over here. We wrap this completely with Kuza and glass layers to make it very strong, because the motor is hanging off of that and it's got to stay on the boat. Lifting points, get all backing plates in each of the corners. We have lifting points going in the front there as well. And that's pretty much it. And I'll get you a little video after we get it popped out of the mold. See what the other side looks like. Hey, we're back here. What we're doing now is, you'll notice we're separating the finished deck part from the mold. And the way that happens is we go around the entire mold with wedges. You see all these wood wedges, like here, all the way around, and then what that does is slowly lifts the part away from the mold, and you put pressure on it with the wedges, and then eventually it'll just pop to a point where you can just lift it right out. You got to break the bond between the mold and the gel coat surface on the inside. The other thing we do is we tab in little lifting points into the mold, actually into the part, where we can hook that up to the crane and just lift this part right out when it's all finished.
You good? I don't know what it sits on. The interview test.
This is the interview test.
Come down.
Show them how we interview people.
Yeah.
Clearing the mold. And then back to the mold.
the Pro Glider Boats shop here, and we're looking at this deck. We have it up on this red device, which is called our rotators. We can rotate this deck 360 degrees to work on any side that we need to be working on. This is the bottom side of the deck that you saw when it was getting pulled out of the mold. And this will get all the electric put in for the navigation lights, the batteries, fuse blocks, electronics for navigation, whatever the customers order. We put some mounts in for seats, that kind of thing. And we do that all on the bottom side, and then we come around the other side here. And this is the actual part that came out of the mold that you didn't see. So this is the finished part. As it comes out of the mold, this is the part that the customer sees. So this is the top side of the decks, and on these decks we mount our spray shields on the front, we have wings on the sides, seats get mounted. Back up here a little bit. You have your motor mount that gets all cut out and cleaned. Don't know why the camera's going blurry on me, but it is. So, and that's it. So after we get this all mounted up and drilled, prepped, that will be actually put onto a hull unit, which will be the next part coming out of the molds.